Hidden in plain sight, these tiny American dimes are not just old coins, they are silent fortune makers. Struck during powerful moments of U.S. history, some rare examples have escaped time almost untouched, carrying value that can shock the world. What looks like simple pocket change could, in extraordinary condition, ignite bidding wars, rewrite destinies, and turn forgotten metal into a life-changing treasure overnight. The 1924 one-dime coin is not just a small piece of silver. It is a silent witness from a turbulent chapter of American history. Born in an era when the world was still healing from war and economies were learning how to breathe again, this dime traveled through hands that built cities, fed families, and shaped a nation's future. At first glance, it looks ordinary, but time has proven that certain examples of this coin carry a gravity far heavier than their tiny size suggests. This dime belongs to the legendary Mercury design, a symbol of freedom of thought and movement, created during a period when America wanted to show strength, intelligence, and progress. In 1924, not all dimes were treated equally. Some were struck with sharper detail, some with subtle irregularities, and some survived the decades almost untouched. These differences, invisible to the untrained eye, are what separate a common coin from one that can make collectors' hearts race. What truly fuels the imagination around a 1924 dime is condition. Most of these coins lived hard lives, rubbed smooth by years of circulation. Finding one today with strong details, original surface glow, and no signs of harsh handling is like finding a message from the past sealed in glass. When such a coin appears, it doesn't just represent money. It represents survival, rarity, and time frozen in metal. There are whispered stories in the coin world about exceptional 1924 dimes that escaped circulation early, resting quietly in drawers, vaults, or forgotten collections. These rare survivors are the ones that can reach astonishing values. Their worth does not come from silver alone, but from perfection, scarcity, and the fierce competition among collectors who understand just how few truly elite examples exist. Many people misunderstand coin value and assume age alone creates wealth, but the truth is more dramatic. A 1924 dime in worn condition may only tell a story, while a pristine one can rewrite a future. The difference between pocket change and life-changing money can be a matter of microscopic details, sharp lettering, full design lines, and untouched surfaces that experts search for obsessively. The dream of unimaginable wealth tied to this coin comes from the rarest edge of the market, where flawless examples ignite bidding wars. When collectors chase the best of the best, logic often gives way to passion. In those moments, prices climb not because of metal or denomination, but because ownership means holding something almost no one else on earth can possess. Yet this coin's real power lies beyond money. It teaches patience, awareness, and respect for history. Many priceless coins were once ignored, spent casually, or sold too cheaply by people who never knew what they had. That is why knowledge is protection. Understanding what makes a 1924 dime special can prevent irreversible regret. If you believe you own such a coin, rushing to sell is the greatest mistake. Value is not decided in a hurry or at a local counter. True worth is revealed through careful examination, expert eyes, and time. A coin with the potential to change a fortune deserves silence, study, and strategy, not impulse. The legend of the 1924 one-dime coin continues because it sits at the intersection of history and possibility. Most will remain humble relics of the past, but tiny fractions stand apart, glowing with rarity and desire. Those are the coins that fuel stories of overnight transformation and generational wealth. In the end, the 1924 dime is a reminder that greatness often hides in the smallest forms. Whether it becomes a valuable treasure or simply a historical keepsake depends on condition, rarity, and wisdom. For those lucky enough to hold an exceptional example, it is not just a coin. It is a quiet opportunity waiting to be understood. Imagine holding a coin so tiny that most people wouldn't give it a second glance, yet it carries within it the power to rewrite a lifetime. The 1925 United States one-dime coin looks small, silver gray, and unassuming, but among the rarest survivors, it is a silent time capsule from an America rebuilding itself after war, roaring toward modernity, and dreaming bigger than ever before. You might think it is just pocket change, but that tiny piece of history can transcend its size and become legend. In the early 1920s, the dime was everywhere, jingling in cash registers, tucked in wallets, traded for groceries, and passed hand to hand across a growing nation. It was not meant to be preserved. It was meant to be spent. But coins are like stories. Some simply refuse to fade. A few dimes from 1925 managed to escape the grind of daily commerce, slipping into collections, drawers, or forgotten boxes. Those lucky survivors now hold a magic that ordinary coins will never know. When collectors speak of the 1925 dime with reverence, they are not referring to every single coin struck that year. Most are worn, rubbed, and smoothed from decades of use. Their details faded like distant memories. But there exists a rare tier of these dimes, deep, sharp, almost untouched, that are like mirrors to the past. These are the ones that make seasoned collectors whisper, if this is genuine, its value could exceed imagination. What makes these exceptional specimens priceless is not simply age, but difference. On the surface, two dimes may appear the same, but under magnification, one can have crisp wings, bold letters, and pure surfaces untouched by time's heavy hand. Those subtle beauties create scarcity. In the world of numismatics, the passion-filled universe of coin collectors, scarcity equates to desire, and desire fuels sky-high value. Now, imagine the scene. A collector opens a small velvet pouch and notices a 1925 dime that practically glows with detail. The light catches the edges, revealing design lines so full and rich they almost seem alive. In that instant, a quiet moment becomes electric. Because everyone knows that coins like these are not merely old, they are benchmarks of perfection. They are the holy grails of dime collecting. Rumors and legends swirl around certain 1925 dimes, ones that allegedly traded hands for astronomical sums, far beyond what most people think a dime could ever fetch. These stories of million-dollar valuations come not from fantasy, but from the deep pockets of elite collectors who will stop at nothing to own perfection. For them, owning such a coin is akin to possessing a masterpiece painting or historic crown. But this is where caution weaves into the tale. Not every 1925 dime worth looking at will make you wealthy overnight. True value lives only in those few examples that survive in extraordinary condition, surfaces unblemished, designs crisp, and history deeply alive. The rest are fascinating antiques, meaningful and beautiful, but not life-changing fortunes. If you truly possess one of these rare gems, understanding its potential is as important as owning it. Experts study every curve and ridge, every glint of light on a coin surface. They can tell whether it deserves a quiet place in a world-class collection, or whether it could break records at auction. This is not a gamble. It's careful, skillful evaluation, and in the right hands, it can unlock unimaginable wealth. And yes, when an exceptional 1925 dime goes to auction, seasoned bidders do not treat it as mere currency. They treat it as a legacy. They imagine the gasp in the room, the rapid bids climbing like rockets, and the final hammer fall that cements the coin's place in history. That moment can turn a simple heirloom into a multi-million-dollar story, talked about for generations. In the end, the 1925 United States dime reminds us that treasure can come in the smallest forms, waiting patiently for the right moment to shine. It is a testament to history, to survival, and to the quiet thrill of discovery. If you ever find such a coin in your hand, hold it not just as change, but as a bridge to an extraordinary past, and perhaps a transformative future. Picture yourself holding a coin so small, it almost disappears between your fingertips, yet pulsing with a history that could fill libraries. The 1930 United States One Dime Coin may look ordinary at first glance, a simple circle of silver with familiar imagery, but in rare worlds of collectors and hidden treasure, this coin is spoken of like a legend, an object with the power to transform life overnight if fortune smiled upon it just right. In 1930, America was on the brink of monumental change. The great stock market crash had just shaken the world, and the nation grappled with new realities. In that unsettled era, millions of silver dimes were minted and passed into everyday commerce, clinking through cash registers, paying for streetcars, and trading hands and pockets across farms and cities. Most were used, loved, worn down by time, but a handful escaped the grind, untouched and preserved like secret relics. It is those rare survivors that fuel the imagination of collectors everywhere. A coin from 1930 that retains near-perfect detail is not merely old. It is a gateway to a lost era. When light hits such a shining specimen, the designs of Liberty's winged figure seem almost alive, her features ironically untouched by the decades that changed the world around her. These few pieces whisper secrets that only the keenest eyes can read. Collectors don't chase age. They chase condition. A dime that has been shuffled around in pockets for decades can be charming, but its worn features mean ordinary value. But when a coin is found with razor-sharp letters and luster that glows like frozen fire, that is when legends are born. These exceptional specimens are the crown jewels in numismatics, often unseen for generations or tucked away in private collections where only a few know of their existence. Legend has it that some 1930 dimes, preserved in astonishing mint condition, have drawn bids that make even seasoned treasure hunters hold their breath. It's not mere silver that drives these values. It's untouched history, scarcity, and the palpable thrill of owning a perfect echo from the past. In auctions where the elite gather, these coins have become stories of obsession, rivalry, and breathtaking final bids that shock the world. Imagine you find such a coin, rare, glowing, and seemingly flawless. The first moment you notice the brilliance of its surface, you feel time stretch. You sense that this is not simply currency, but a fragment of a world long gone, resurrected in metal. In that instant, every collector in the room, every expert weighing bids in hushed tones, is thinking of the same thing. What is this coin truly worth? Wealth beyond imagination. That's the kind of talk that surrounds these rare survivors. But value in the coin world is not random. It is shaped by desire, competition, and the relentless pursuit of perfection. When two seasoned collectors lock eyes over a pristine 1930 dime, they are not just bidding. They are betting on history, on exclusivity, on the right to own something almost no one else can claim. Yet this is where wisdom becomes vital. If you possess such a remarkable coin, rushing to sell it for the first high offer would be a mistake. The true magic happens when you seek careful evaluation by experts, when you let a story unfold, and when you trust at the right moment, perhaps at a major auction, can unlock the destiny this coin carries. In that arena, fortunes have shifted in heartbeats. The 1930 dime, in rare and extraordinary condition, does not merely represent money. It represents possibility, the thrilling, breathtaking possibility of seeing dreams materialize. A coin like this can spark conversations across continents, ignite fierce bidding wars, and turn a once ordinary object into a treasure that people speak of for decades. In the end, the allure of the 1930 United States One Dime Coin is not just its metal or design. It is the story it embodies: survival through time, the quiet evolution of history, and the dream of transformation wrapped in shimmering silver. If you hold one that survives in spectacular condition, treat it not as small change, but as silent potential, an opportunity as rare and bright as any treasure ever found. Imagine holding a piece of history no larger than a fingernail, yet powerful enough to rewrite the story of your life. The 1931 United States One Dime Coin seems simple at first, small, silver-colored, familiar. But for those who know the hidden languages of coins, this diminutive disc can be much more: a bridge to the past, a treasure whispered about in secret circles, and for a very fortunate few, a financial turning point that most can only dream about. The year 1931 was a turbulent one. The world had begun to feel the tremors of economic uncertainty that would soon become a global crisis. In that year, millions of ordinary dimes were struck and released into circulation. These coins were not created to be museum pieces. They were made for everyday commerce, meant to change hands dozens of times, jingling in pockets and cash registers across the nation. Most of them fulfilled that purpose, and then slowly wore away with use. But among these countless coins, a rare few escaped time's heavy touch. Some found their way into collections early, tucked away in albums or boxes and forgotten for decades. Others were protected by accident, slipped into drawers, locked in safes, or passed down through generations without ever being exchanged for goods or services. These survivors are the ones that fascinate collectors today because they carry something far more valuable than silver: pristine condition and untold stories. When collectors talk about the value of a 1931 dime, they are not thinking about the coins that have been worn and smoothed by use. Those tell a beautiful story of everyday life, but their worth remains modest. The true legends are those coins that appear nearly untouched by time, where the intricate details of the design are razor sharp and the original luster still glows when the light hits just right. In the quiet world of numismatics, experts look for things most people never notice. The fine lines on Liberty's wing cap, the sharp edges of the lettering, the way the surface reflects light without dullness or scratches. A dime of exceptional condition from 1931 can feel alive in the hand, as if it remembers its first day at the mint. It is these rare survivors that draw the deepest fascination and the highest bids from serious collectors. There are stories passed among enthusiasts about extraordinary 1931 dimes that have traded hands for prices that make ordinary people gasp. These legends are not fueled by fantasy alone, but by the reality that perfection commands power in the collector's world. The rarer and more flawless a coin, the more intense the competition becomes. And when two determined bidders square off, prices can climb in ways that surprise even seasoned experts. If you were to hold a 1931 dime that has survived in such extraordinary condition, you would feel a thrill that goes beyond money. You would be holding a tangible remnant of an era long past, an artifact that was almost lost to time. In that moment, the coin ceases to be simple currency and becomes a connection to people who first held it, lived through their own challenges, and passed it on through the years. Yet it is important to understand that not every old dime will make someone instantly wealthy. True high-value coins are the exceptions in a sea of ordinary examples. Most dimes from 1931 are fascinating pieces of history, yes, but they do not carry the extreme rarity that turns a simple discovery into something truly extraordinary. That exceptional status comes only when conditions, scarcity, and collector desire intersect in the rarest of ways. If you believe you have a 1931 dime that might be in remarkable condition, the smartest thing you can do is seek careful evaluation from qualified experts. They can examine every detail, determine its grade, and help you understand where it stands in the hierarchy of rarity. In the right hands, a truly exceptional coin can become a highlight of a major auction and draw attention from around the world. In the end, the allure of the 1931 United States dime lies not just in value, but in story. How it survived, what hand it passed through, and what it means to the person who holds it today. Whether it becomes a treasured keepsake, a centerpiece in a collection, or a remarkable financial opportunity, this tiny coin reminds us that greatness often hides in the smallest places, and that history has a way of revealing its secrets to those who look closely enough. Imagine holding a coin no larger than your fingertip, but so full of history and quiet power that it feels alive. The 1936 United States One Dime Coin might look tiny and simple to an ordinary eye, but to those who understand the secret language of coins, it is a whisper from the past, an artifact that once passed through millions of hands and now, in rare condition, holds potential beyond what most people can imagine. In 1936, the world was still shaking off the hardships of the Great Depression, and Americans carried dimes for everyday life, paying streetcar fares, buying small treats, and tipping busboys. These weren't created as future treasures. They were made for spending. Most were used endlessly, becoming smooth and worn, their design details fading under decades of handling. Yet, as with all great stories, a few survived as if time forgot them. Those rare survivors are the ones that thrill collectors. A 1936 dime in average worn condition might carry memories of commerce and everyday life, but dime that still preserves its original luster and sharp design is a connection to the moment it was struck at the mint, a moment frozen in history. It's not just silver, it's a frozen echo of the past. Collectors don't pursue age alone. They chase condition and story. What separates an ordinary 1936 dime from one that can ignite fascination is how well it survived. When the letters and images on the coin, the crisp thickness of letters, the intricate feathers, the graceful curves, remain sharp and unblemished, the coin becomes more than money. It becomes a rarity. It becomes desirable. Imagine uncovering a 1936 dime that still gleams with soft, reflective shine, where every detail seems freshly struck. That coin isn't just old, it's perfect, an exception among countless worn pieces. in the quiet halls of collectors. Coins like this are treasure beyond price. They are held in reverence, whispered about in stories of discovery and forgotten drawers, found in dusty old jewelry boxes, or hidden in piles of change long ago set aside. Legends grow around these rare coins because of this. When collectors spot perfection, they see possibility. They see a piece that transcends its denomination. They see something that might, under the right spotlight and among the right bidders, become the centerpiece of an auction that shocks the world. And in that place, where desire, rarity, and competition meet, the value of a coin can climb in breathtaking ways. But understand this. Not every old dime will turn into a fortune. Most 1936 dimes are treasured for historical reasons, yes, but their condition places them in the realm of memories rather than unimaginable wealth. The coins that can truly astonish, those with deep, unblemished surfaces, are the rarest of the rare, the tiny handful that survive not just time but neglect and obscurity. If you happen to hold one of these rare dimes, what you possess is more than metal. It is potential. But that potential only reveals itself when treated with care. Rushing to sell at a low price would be like leaving untold chapters of a great story unread. True value comes through expert valuation, patience, and the understanding that these coins draw attention from seasoned collectors around the globe. In the world of numismatics, the passionate, meticulous universe of coin collecting, a supreme example can earn a place in history. It can inspire awe, spark fierce bidding battles, and become part of a narrative that transcends currency. Coins like this are not simply bought and sold. They are celebrated, written about, and remembered for generations. So if you hold a 1936 United States dime that seems to defy time, treat it not as pocket change, but as a whisper from a distant era. Hold it as a reminder that greatness often hides in the most unassuming forms, and that sometimes the smallest things carry the greatest stories. Your coin may not guarantee overnight transformation, but in a world driven by rarity, wonder, and history, it can be far more extraordinary than you ever expected.